So one thing that y'all gonna see in another video versus this, we had Taan Sau, right? That's really advanced, really advanced. It's mostly Chung Q era, Chung Q part. So I may have that video under a Chung Q playlist or something in the future. Somehow I'm gonna work this out, y'all. Now, I'm disorganized. I'm all over the place.
Also ideas.
Right, ideas all over the place. I still got t-shirts I'm trying to create. Anyway, so Taan Sau is, if I haven't put a video out about this already, I want to really break this down. This is like very freaking important. So I need y'all to really open up about it. A lot of people that's under the Wing Chun banner, a lot of you are not going to agree with what I have to say. With the videos I had on Taan Sau with Will, I haven't even produced it yet, so I might as well delete those and make this the new one. Anyway, because there's over 130, I counted, there's over 130 gigabytes worth of videos I haven't even produced yet. Then that's not even counting older stuff that still dates back to 2016, 2017 I ain't produced yet. Yes, I am Detox Dr. Dre. So I'm gonna tell y'all something about this Taan Sau. I'm gonna have Kellen face y'all a bit because I need y'all to see this. When I personally do Taan Sau, okay, I have it where you can take the butt part of the palm, you can damn near place it on your chin or whatever. That's the kind of level of Taan Sau I work with. Now, this particular Taan Sau is different from what everybody else does, especially in my lineage of Muay Thai. Because they would do more this. You will see mostly this. It's more of a straight streamline. They would tell you you can cover at the elbow when doing a Tan and punch or Tan Da, whatever the case may be, right? So why, and then there's other lineages, mind you, I'm about to show you this, that, like I'm serving. Now, I don't do this because already at this point, the forearm is already working. Now, if you want to do that for a good workout, if you just do it for a good workout, that is good. You're still going to have to extend though, and then when you extend, it's not going to be as much as a workout, but it's close enough, right? Now, why does Tai do this? And why is it up as high as it is? It's not like Wing Chun's method. Wing Chun's method is way up here. They want to make sure they cover their head, okay? and no disrespect, but that's what they do. Mm-hmm. But mine's particularly more mid to this point, elbow slightly in, whatever. Why is it this? Because, relax. Follow me now. Here we go. Wing Chun's first master, as far as the Ip Man line is concerned, starts at Abbess Wu Mei, or Ng Mui, 5 plums none. Loy Song, her actual name. Now, she is the master of Wing Chun, Hung Gar, Tiger Crane. And that's mostly because of her connection with Yin Wing Chun, which is ours, and another girl before that named Fong Wing Chun. No one ever talks about Fong. Fong is the wife of Hong Gun. Hong Gun is the founder of Hung Gar. And some would even say that the masters before Hong Gun that connects that is Hu Up Yard and Ho Wei Ting. If that's right. Even though it's a mixed history, y'all. Just go with me on this. But the whole idea of this whole thing is you have Abbess Wu Mei, who is a mother of two main, I would say one of the strongest systems going inside of Chinese Kung Fu as far as history is concerned today. So if you was to look up Hung Gar, and I have a background, it's not Hung Gar on my end exactly, we will acknowledge Hung Kyun, but then I have some tidbits on why I can't say Hung Gar exactly the way I want to, or Hung Kyun exactly the way I want to, right? But in their system, every Sao hand is known as a Q, K-I-U. Remember that word because Chum Q means what? Seeking the bridge or sinking the bridge. Well, what's the bridge? Q. This Taan Sau. So if you look up Taan Q, you're gonna get, by research alone, a Hung Gar move. Okay. You see the connection? Now, when you look it up, video-wise, book-wise, and I'm telling y'all guys that because we're in a third information age, it's all at our fingertips, there should be no excuse, right? This hand is just like this, and it says, this is the description of or the definition of this hand, of a Taan Q. Lady looks in the mirror.
Oh.
Get what I'm saying now? So, lady can't look in the mirror like this. Lady can't especially look in the mirror like this. She gotta look in the mirror like this. Now, if you see that connection, right? Like I said, Abbess Wu Mei is in both sides, so we cannot deny that this lady had existed. This lady had to have existed because now, not only is she in our two systems, she's been even mentioned in the Lama Kung Fu method. The Tibetan Lamas was doing more work for the Qings than they were for the regular Chinese. And she had to go talk with their elders to try to get them to stop. Because just as much as Chi Sim was an abbot, she was an abbess. That's why we say Abbess Wu Mei. She was a head. She was the first woman to be the head of the Shaolin Temple Order, or given that title, which means she was at the same rank as Abbot Chi Sim, but she lived in a separate area because she's a woman. And you talk about a whole class of men that probably ain't seen a woman since dawn. Okay? Does that make sense now? So you go along that path and you keep going, you'll see her legend. You'll see who she is. Here she is, Feng Wing Chun. Feng Wing Chun marries Hong Gun. Now, somewhere in between that and Yin Wing Chun is the story of her hanging out with Feng Sau Yuk, totally different guy. Master, legend, photographic memory, and he could do any martial art move. If you do it one time, he's going to do it 10 times better than you in the same fight. That's Feng Sau Yuk, legendary. No one talks about how he was killed. He was killed by a palm when Abbess Wu Mei thought she was being attacked from behind. She kills him, says, "Oh my God, son," helps him be properly buried, and then escapes and goes into the Mei temples which is Ome Shan. When you hear Ome Shan is also tied to Parme. Parme. See, they were all interconnected. The reason why Parme was so successful with the Qings to overtake the Shaolin was because he was hanging out with the Shaolin in a hall called Wing Chun Hall, but it's not spelled the same. Abbess Wu Mei did not want to give that name to that system when she taught it to Yin Wing Chun. It was her husband that gave the name Wing Chun to the system when Yin Wing Chun died. See the connections? You have to really know your Chinese history to understand what I just said. What's the point, Tyease? I'll tell you the point. This Taan Sau here is very interesting because even though we're just talking about Taan Sau, and mind you, we ain't got that wooden dummy yet, we'll get it. But another way to prove this Taan Sau, knowing that it's gonna do what it do, it's gonna block on the thumb side, right? If he just stays there and I keep going, it's gonna spread to the outside of him. Here, let me show you with the other hand. It's gonna spread to the outside of him. And then if he was to shift, he's dispersed. Our Taan Sau has two definitions: to spread and disperse.
Spread out.
Now, if the hand was this flat, and he's meeting with my punch, right? And he was to disperse from here.
You didn't see that.
So a lot of times this Taan Sau, if they want it to be a good Taan Sau, it's good to have an angle and do this and then punch, because this makes sense. You can even lay the Taan Sau down a bit to cause pressure.
Right.
That way I just couldn't go anywhere. So it's not saying this Taan Sau doesn't work, okay? But when you have my Taan Sau, the Taan Sau of the original inheritor of the system, teaching and all that, right? And you do that same disperse, it turns my body with it, he's not losing my hand. Right? He has a punch that goes in, and because if he has that punch a little bit more elbow bit, I can't elbow towards him. I can't attack like that towards him. Does anybody see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you have to understand why such a Taan Sau exists. Now, if I have it straight like this, there's no tense energy inside the forearm, but it's pointing upward and the fingers are pointing straight. Why is that? Why is that so important? Because Sunum Dao is, in its ultimate truth, is a system or a form of relaxation. You're supposed to be able to relax and just be able to concentrate on the technique, and that's it. You know, be able to do the moves without having to worry about how much strength you need or how much this or how much that. Just concentrate on technique. Trust me, the strength will be there, because even if he's relaxed, once my hand is contact, he doesn't have to think about it. He could be totally stay relaxed. It's his brain that's gonna, much like when you have insects or animals and stuff like that, and they're in a heightened sense of danger, they'll get to the point where it's like, it just happens that way. So even if he was relaxed, right? And I do this, and all of a sudden, it's right there. That's why Wing Chun is so soft. We're actually relying on the innate nature of just who we are. We are animals. Let's break down the science. We act certain ways when things are going awry, right? So we're soft about it. We're calm. We make sure we watch ourselves, and if I go to a grocery store, I'm watching my back every time, and all that kind of stuff. But we rely on subtleness, and then when we need it, strength is going to be there, technique's going to be there, because it's all about the human bones and how they're set. Now, if he was going to have, and I'm showing you this is really important. He doesn't know this yet, but I'm down there walking him through it. If he was going to have this Taan Sau and turn into bone, right? Then he sets it down, and now he turns this into bone. Now we got Chi Sao.
Right.
We got the starting idea of Chi Sao. Now, if his head is too low, and he's doing it that way, roll it. There's a chance that I can get in, right? And mind you, yeah, he can shift that way if he wants to, shift. But then I'm still almost over his bridge, I can still, so
I think even trying to bong sail there, I think would still, yeah.
Right. So I have his hand up like he's looking in that mirror. He turns, I have the hands up like he's looking in the mirror. So then when he does it, if I try to punch in here, I can't. It stops it. That's the point.
It's far easier, definitely felt the difference.
There's a clear difference. So when I teach Wing Chun, it's not to, I don't ever just change moves to disrespect our ancestors, the people that have worked so hard to put the system together, all of that. But I've had my stressors, I've had my times when I had to pressurize this idea, to the point that I've used it in Taekwondo. I've used it in other martial arts. And then I had to ultimately say, okay, that worked, or two, I slipped up, what's the problem? So I've had my opportunities to go against other martial arts schools to see what happens. Matter of fact, I didn't even used to like Ng Sau like that. Until I was in a fight in Taekwondo and the dude low kicked and high kicked, and I just had it like this, and I was just like, I can't believe you still low kick, high kick when I had this. Like, and then the high kick goes in, and I'm going down with it, and I'm attacking, right? And it's because once that happens, it's just like, oh, I like Ng Sau now. Now I love it. Now I gotta explore it more. I'm sorry I ever hated it. It's the same with rap music. There was a time I didn't like rap music worth a dang, right? Then I got 14, I started going, I was like, oh, you know what? I apologize so much. I have been on rap music since I was 14. It's just like, it's like the great apology. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Don't apologize for loving something.
Right.
Unless it's illegal and no consent's involved. Don't, yeah.
Yeah, word. So.
I thought of one other thing here.
Right.
Another good reason that the Taan Sau had to evolve anyway from down here, headhunting became more popular 20th century onwards, especially with your old bare knuckle boxing, pugilism, and everything. But just modern day, people are headhunters, so
yes,
it's just already a natural defensive spot to be there.
And here's the thing, he brings up a very good point, and I'm about to show something. This is real interesting. See, back in those days, the head wasn't that important. Anybody could go for the head, unless you was aiming for certain spots, like the temple, right here where everybody said the third eye is, I ain't got a name for it. Cerebral cortex, thank you. Or whatever, right? People could go for that. But back in those times, they went for more vital areas that they know that you can either stop a heart or bleed out. So armpits was one. The heart is another, or that's why y'all like Kill Bill in the second part, and you got the 5 exploding heart technique. Like, it is the funniest thing ever, but guess what? The reason why you even heard about that is because if you travel through history enough, you're gonna hear a legendary story inside of Hung Gar. And one of the stories was Pai Mei actually killed a lot of their members with the 5 exploding heart technique. He would do things, he'd just walk around go and do a screw technique beat like crane into the stomach and flip you, and he'll be like, oh, run along. I don't want to fight you anymore, run along. Mm-hmm. Because your heart rate will go up and you will collapse. That's not just a movie, that was a thing. And if you really want to ask that question, the system is called White Eyebrow Kung Fu. Their history is deep, and that is the system of Pai Mei. And you know what's even crazier about that? There's one of the funniest men in the world is a master of the white eyebrow method. Jackie Chan.
Oh, really?
I said it. Yep.
I didn't know about that.
Yep. Anyway. So let's get back to this. I may have to cut this out and make a whole nother video about all that. Anyway, so I got this Taan Sau here for a reason.
Right.
And even, okay, let's say if he's doing that, right? He's still protecting the heart side. That didn't change. And he's protecting his head more because he'll have it just up enough. Like I said, the butt is at the chin. It's at the chin.
Right.
Right? And then just in case, he has his backhand here, just in case, if the Taan Sau don't work. So that's the whole point of why we do these double hands. Even if we do it like this as Jong Sau fighting hands, it can turn into a Taan Sau and it's still Jong Sau fighting hands. So you have to realize what you're doing. You have to realize what these moves are, and then go from there. And that's your goal, right? But this is Taan Sau, ladies and gentlemen. This is our first of 3 seeds of Wing Chun. Tan, Bong, Fu. Right? Mm-hmm. Is there any questions?
Let's see.
And I'm gonna have Kelly practice it with the camera off. Oh. So.
Well, I know that when I'm doing the first form, sometimes I go a little lower than I need to, so it should be up higher.
Right.
Elbow, getting it in is wideness to me.
Right.
Wide shoulders.
Oh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and finish what you said, because that's a very good point. Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, my body structure doesn't exactly allow me to always get the elbow in like this, so sometimes it's a little bit out. But I mean, that's the thing, Wing Chun's body structure, it has to adapt based on the person.
Right. And
so,
that's a good question. Oh my God, I'm glad you said that.
So there would be a use for this if, hey, fighting a shorter person, so hey, it can come down. Fighting a taller person, that one that goes a little bit more up. So I can see that stuff too, but yeah, go ahead.
Taan Sau, a lot of these masters, they'll be like, oh, you gotta get Taan Sau in the middle. It has to be in the middle of the center line. Right. And then it has to be like this or whatever. That's not gonna always be the case. Just like he said, sometimes you got certain body types. My ex-wife, I had several other students, they could not get Taan Sau in the middle like that. Mm-hmm. Sternum, Taan Sau out like that. They just could not. So how does Wing Chun fix that problem? Okay, here's tip number one. If you can't get them to the sternum, at least get close. So you have sternum to shoulder. That is your range. Sternum to shoulder. Why? How is that so? Because check this out. G Sau has already called it. It only goes as far as the tip of that finger, as far as you want to go with any technique. So my Taan Sau can be here, and even though it's not centered right, it's strong. If, pat on that.
Yep.
Right here.
Yep.
Okay, now watch this. He's gonna use that same pat, but watch. If I turn the elbow out just a tiny bit, go for it. Collapses. So the point of the Taan Sau is this V-shaped line here, and the fact that he's either at his shoulder, he could even be at the clavicle bone section of this. And then so when I do this, that's a dang good Taan Sau. It's sturdy.
Meanwhile, a little off.
Yeah, if you had it just a tiny bit off,
Yeah. Oh heck.
your whole body, because also I want y'all to also understand this. Elbow sinking position acts like an anchor, sometimes even for the whole body. So if I was to just slightly put the elbow up,
Yep.
but if I sink that elbow, right?
Triangles.
It looks like a trick, but it really ain't. It's about body mechanics. Sometimes, y'all, I don't even care to look at another Wing Chun video. I don't. I would rather look at a book on anatomy, or I want to know about the body mechanics within quantum physics or kinetics. Something that has to do with the body so I can understand it better. So now when I do my Wing Chun, I'm not doing it based on just a technique. I'm doing it on overall scientific method and results.
Just what Wing Chun was designed out of, to be like combat science, to
Right.
shorten all the extra.
So if I ever wonder why Wing Chun is not carrying the torch the way it should, a lot of it has to do with body mechanics and body science. Or fight science from Mark Phillips.
I love it, man.
This guy's coming to see you. So it's all of that. You know, you have to really grasp the knowledge of understanding of who you are. Like, really, look, I define Wing Chun under two things. One, fixing human error. Two, knowing yourself. You gotta know yourself. You gotta know your goods and your bads. You gotta, like for example, me being honest, my left side with my sciatic nerve has been bumping for months now. And so now I have to adjust the way I do Wing Chun. That's gonna help me out with the fact that that nerve is hidden. It's stuff like that that makes this system so great, because now it's just like, wait a minute, I can do Wing Chun with a sciatic nerve issue? Yes, you can.
Do Wing Chun with one arm. I mean,
yeah. It's so you have to understand the system and how it works for you. Matter of fact, even the Yiji Kunima, the ghost stance, helps me with my back. I've always had a sciatic nerve issue, and that's why I do this system. It's helped me. So anyway, yes, very good. I'm glad you said what you said. You could go at the clavicle, you go towards the shoulder. Don't go past that. Keep the elbow low. You're in good shape. For those of you that can get to the middle, practice the middle. but also understanding that you could go off slightly and it's okay. But still have something here, right, to protect you at all times. Fair enough?
Yeah, it's excellent.
All right, and he's gonna be practicing while y'all do whatever.